Building a mobile app can feel like an expensive endeavor, especially for first-time founders with limited funds. In fact, around 90% of startups fail, often due to mistakes in their development process that drain budget before the app even launches. But here is the good news. Developing an app on a budget is absolutely possible if you approach with the right strategies. In this video, we'll explore actionable strategies for saving money in early stage of development. So let's go. One of the biggest and most expensive mistakes new founders make is jumping straight into building a full product before checking if anyone even wants it. Think about it. You could spend months and thousands of dollars coding features only to find out that nobody wants it. Painful, right? That's why you need to validate your idea upfront by using fast and low-cost methods. It could be as a simple landing page, an online survey, or even just talking to potential users about their problems. Tools like Google Form, Typeform, or Quick Prototype can give you real insights without writing a single line of code. We always tell to our customers, before spending money on development, validate your idea. By doing this early, you ensure you're solving a real problem and building something people will use. This prevents wasting money on coding features for an unproven idea. If the idea doesn't resonate, you'll just save yourself money and time. If it does resonate, you now have confidence to invest in development. Okay, let's say your idea is validated. The next step is diving straight into coding. Don't do that. Planning and scoping can save you massive amounts of money. Write a product requirements document, basically a roadmap that details every feature, every screen, even the boring stuff like login or password reset. Evaluate your idea. I want an app where people give feedback each other. It's not enough for developers to give accurate codes or build efficiently. If you approach a developer or agency without clear specs, you may end up paying them to figure it out for you. Instead, invest your own time in creating a crystal clear roadmap of your app functionality. It costs you a little and can save you from expensive misunderstandings. Along with the written spec, map out the user flow and design at a high level. These can be as simple as scratching wireframes or as polished as clickable prototypes. It's way cheaper to adjust a blueprint than to fix finished code. And here's the pro tip. Prioritize features. Not everything needs to go into version 1. Use a message like most code to separate essential from nice to have. A well-defined plan ensures you spend time and money only on what's truly needed on your MVP. Great design is important, but at the early stage, functionality and usability matter more than flashy visuals. Focus on a clear, simple design that works and is cheap to implement. A simple, functional design often delivers more value than a high-budget, overcomplicated one. Both iOS and Android provide built-in UI elements, so stop overcomplicating your app with custom buttons and menus. Using these standard elements saves development time and keeps your app professional and gives users a familiar experience. Moreover, a platform-consistent design is faster to implement and less likely to have bugs. These nice, tiny design details might be costing you more than you think. Custom illustration or bespoke icons can be replaced with system icons or simple text for your first version. Delay advanced features like dark mode, customizations, complex gesture, responsive layouts, and ask yourself, does this feature really improve the user experience at launch? If not, leave it for later. Users might care about fancy animations, but they definitely care more about usability. Make your app easy to navigate and understand. 3D graphics or transition effects can wait. A beautiful, simple app that works is always valuable than a flashy one that frustrates users. Remember, even top apps evolve their design post-launch. Your first goal is to design a solution that solves the user's problem in the simplest way possible, because it not only keeps development costs down, but it's often results in a better product. As we said before, simplicity is your best friend. Rather than attempting a fully polished product with every feature under the sun, aim to build a minimal viable product, the most trickle-down version of your app that still delivers your core value proposition. An MVP focuses on solving one key problem for your target users and includes only the essential features to do so. By cutting out the fluff, you reduce development time and cost, and you can launch faster to start learning from real users. An MVP saves money in two big ways. First, you write less code, which directly cut costs. And second, you get the app into user hands faster, so you can start collecting feedback, and that feedback tells you what to build next or prevent you from wasting money on features nobody actually needs. I know a founder who rushed in the opposite direction. They built way too many features and launched it on both Android and iOS right away. Later, they admitted it would have been smarter to validate on just one platform first. And that's the principle here. Don't build more features than necessary, and don't build for more platforms than you need at the start. In practice, this often means choosing the one platforms, iOS or Android, depending on where your early users are. This single decision can literally cut your initial development costs in half. And history proves it works. Instagram started out simply as an iOS app for photos and filters. Uber's first version just let your requests arrive. Twitter was 140 character text posts and nothing more. All of them started with one clear feature, which they built well and then expanded later. So keep your MVP lean, build the one thing that matters most, and you will probably create a better user experience too. You nailed your MVP, but a little voice inside your head says, let's just add this fun cool feature, it won't be long. This is the beginning of feature creep, the tendency to keep adding one more cool feature here and there during development. Each extra feature might seem small, but it ripples through the development process, adding more coding, more testing, and eventually more maintenance. In other words, more feature equal more money. Feature creep usually comes from FOMO or the urge to match competitors. But here's the reality. If you overload your app, two bad things happen. You burn your budget and you overwhelm users with cluster experience. It's far more smarter to launch with a handful of strongly crafted features than a long list on half-baked ones. The key point here, don't build features on a hunch or out of vanity. Build what your vision absolutely requires and what early user feedback confirmed it's needed. Nothing more. To enforce this, set strict criteria for every new feature. Does it directly support the core purpose of the app? Is it something users can live without in version 1? If the answer is no or even maybe, save it for later, because the truth is, when you do everything, you do them better. When you stay lean, you save cash, and when you launch simple, you launch faster. Here is the money-saving secret most new founders overlooked. You don't need to build everything from scratch. In a development ecosystem, there is no need to custom build every component of your app. Think about it. Login system, chats, payment processes, analytics. There are standard features that thousands of apps use. But good news, there are already pre-built templates, libraries, and open source tools that handle all of this. Authentication, let's use Firebase. Payments, Stripe. Analytics, Amplitude, HIPAA, even free open source tools. Why spend months reinventing the wheel when you can just plug in what's already proven to work? I know using ready-made components is not cheating, it's called working smart. Even the biggest companies in the world use open source frameworks and third-party services to move faster. If it's good enough for them, it's definitely good enough for your startup. And here is another hack. Take advantage of free tiers and trials in early days. Upgrade later when you have more users and revenue. Every hour your developers spend reinventing a standard feature is an hour not spent on what makes your app unique. So do a sweep of what's already out there. Plug in existing tools for the basics and reserve your budget for the feature that truly sets the product apart. If you're not familiar with all the available tools, no worries. At Wolfario, we spent over 10 years helping startups, so we will find the perfect tool set to make your idea fly. Just drop us in the comments. The way you manage the development process itself can affect costs too. Many startups try the big bang approach, build the entire app in one go and test the whole end. And this approach almost always leads to expensive mistakes. You only find problems when it's too late, and fixing them costs way more than if you caught them early. Here is the better way. Agile. Break your projects into weekly chunks called sprints. Each sprint gives you a working part of the app you can test right away. If something is off, you catch it fast before it blows up your budget. Plus, you don't have to wait the perfect app. Roll out a basic version, get feedback from real users, and improve it step by step. It's way cheaper and smarter than guessing what users want. Each sprint should leave you with a usable version. Think of it as building a puzzle one piece at a time, instead of trying to force the full picture together at once. On the technical side, encourage your dev team to follow best practices like modular coding, automation, and testing. Many technical founders get excited about using the trendiest architecture, but this can introduce unnecessary complexity and expenses for a simple version 1. For early-stage startups, the simplest architecture is often the most cost-efficient. Okay, last but not least, the labor. Labor is usually the biggest expense in development, so making smart choices about your team is critical. First, look at your own skills. Can you code even a little? If yes, do it. Every hour you spend coding yourself, it's money saved. Many successful startups were built by just founder or a tiny team. If you are not technical, think about bringing in a technical co-founder. They may work for equity instead of cash. Sure, you give up a bit of ownership, but in return, you get someone who can actually build your MVP in-house. Even if you don't personally know a developer, explore your network. A trusted person can be much better than hiring freelancer. Here is counterintuitive truth. Hiring the cheapest developer can actually cost you more. Experienced developers might charge more per hour, but they finish faster, produce better quality code, and save you a ton of headaches. On the flip side, inexperienced developers can take longer, produce buggy code, or even build things incorrectly, leading to expensive fixes or rewrites. Thinking about agencies or freelancers? Don't just pick the lowest bidder. Look for proven track records. A smart approach is to break project into milestones and tie payments to deliverables. This way, you see real progress before spending more money. And that's exactly how we do it at Mulfario. Weekly milestones, linked payments, and no upfront costs. And also, you don't need 10 people at the start. A lean team works best. Typically, early-stage teams have 2-4 people, a developer, a designer, and you as a product manager. Avoid paying for specialists you don't really need yet, like full-time DBAs or system architects aren't necessary for a simple MVP. People wearing multiple hats totally normal in scrappy startups. Finally, even if you are not coding, learn basics of software engineering. Understanding the process helps you to communicate clearly with developers, spot red flags, and make smarter decisions. You don't have to be an expert. Being a little tech literature can prevent miscommunication, reduce risk, and make you a far more effective leader for your project. Many first-time founders spend everything on development and then panic when the app needs updates, hosting, or marketing. Let's go through what you should have planned for from day one. Maintenance is just a fact of life for any app. Your app will need updates, maybe because of user feedback, new devices, or operating system changes. If you don't set aside funds for post-launch support, you will scramble later. If your code is clean and well-tested, maintenance is cheap, but always have a cushion for those inevitable fixes. Many apps rely on third-party services like cloud databases, push notifications, maps, payment processors. These tools often start cheap or free, but costs can skyrocket as you grow. For example, a cloud database free tier might suddenly start charging once you exceed a number of records or requests. Plan for growth, because your MVP should minimize expensive services until you validate your idea. Another often overlooked expense is developer accounts and compliance. Fortunately, they are minor. Publishing an App Store costs $99 a year, and on Google Play, a one-time $25 fee. Not huge, but added to the budget. Compliance with privacy laws or security standards might incur costs too, even if it's legal advice or implementing extra features for GDPR. Lastly, think ahead to marketing and customer acquisition. If no one uses your app, all your money spent on development goes to waste. Even basic marketing like SEO, social media promotion, target ads, or even product launch campaign requires funds. Smart founders don't blow the whole budget on development. They reserve funds for growth. Budget is a challenge, but it's one that many scrappy startup founders have done successfully. The main principle is to spend your money where it counts and cut out waste everywhere else. That means prioritizing features and doing less, but doing better. Thinking strategically about app development costs can save you a lot of money without hurting quality. For first-time founders, being frugal is superpower. Remember, many of today's big tech products started small, with tiny budgets, and grew huge by using resources wisely. Follow these strategies and you'll be on your way to your own successful story. Good luck! Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. Check the links below and follow us on social media for more tips and updates. And if you're ready to take your startup to the next level, visit Mulfario. We will help you build fast and smart. Catch you next time.